welcome to Most Haunted. This week we brought you to the beautiful Norfolk coastline where there are guns and tanks. These pieces of machinery have helped to save many people in battle, and supposedly they have ghosts all of their own. This is the Muckleburgh collection.
The Muckleburgh collection is situated in Weybourne, Norfolk. Weybourne has always been a military village. It has been a base for large numbers of troops during the wars of 1588, 1914 and 1938. The collection was started by Berry Savary and his son Michael. Together they have allowed thousands of people to remember the brave soldiers who fought so gallantly for our country. The museum has become famous not just for its memorabilia, but also for its ghost sightings.
The area around here is full of natural harbours, and because of that it's always been a defended position, because these harbours of course bring invaders, the Romans, the Saxons, and they believe that also Vikings landed here on this very spot. So there's always been soldiers' camps around here.
Dark shadows have been experienced in this room, along with the feeling of being watched, which has been reported by staff members. These occurrences happen both in the day and at night.
The shadows are more prolific in the winter because there is nobody around, and although people say it could be the wind, it isn't. You can feel the rush of something by you, or a sudden cold spot. You can feel it.
With there being a military camp here, of course, there's been a phenomenal amount of life and death. 6 ATS women were killed here when an anti-aircraft gun blew up. Nobody really knows whether, of course, they found all of them.
There was quite a sinister tale attached to this camp. We've got to be rather careful about this. We know the names of the people involved, but we don't want to offend any living relatives. But according to newspaper cuttings that we found in the archive, should I say, there was a suspicious death here, and it involved a Royal Artillery sergeant. A case where there was a suspicious death of his wife. He returned to his home on some leave. There was a large trunk. It was opened, and her body was found inside the trunk.
This desk and chair was Berry Savary's, and the present employees refuse to sit here because it's always icy cold and has an eerie feeling, and the resident dog, Holly, won't come anywhere near it. Another strange thing that's happened in this office is that Berry Savary used to have a beautiful picture up here on the wall. It was his favourite. Now, the current manager then took down that photograph and replaced it with a new one. As soon as the new one went up, it crashed down with no logical explanation.
Berry loved this place with a passion. He spent almost 24 hours here every day, every single day of his last few years, and he loved it, and I know that he is still here, definitely.
He flew with no less than Douglas Bader. This is Squadron Leader Berry Savary's hat. There's his scrapbooks, there's everything to do with him here. And people believe that because he loved this place so much, this place that he set up, that he still visits. He still comes back to this place to oversee what's going on.
All of these now retired vehicles have all seen action, but in the dead of night, strange noises can be heard coming from within. Voices of soldiers have been heard coming from inside this tank, and cries of anguish have been heard coming from here.
People have claimed they've heard moans and groans from the rear of the ambulance, for example. The tanks, various tanks have been heard to be cooling down. People will say, well, oh, have you had this one out today? Is it going to be out again? And maybe it hasn't been moved for a month.
The biggest thing of all, in my opinion, is the fact that this place is absolutely chock-a-block with fighting vehicles. People have spent many, many hours in combat inside these vehicles. The emotion that must be, I think, recorded into those vehicles. They hold the memories from those soldiers.
Having spent time getting to know the layout of the museum and also listening to various eyewitness accounts of ghost sightings, Phil Wyman, our paranormal investigator, felt sure we were in for an interesting night.
Do you think tanks and planes can actually hold on to the memories and almost replay them?
Well, if you go along with the idea of the stone tape theory, which basically means any object can absorb energies from a past era, for instance, and then replay them under certain circumstances, then I think that's quite possible, yes.
Do you think it's a bit strange that the resident dog, Holly, won't go near Berry Savoury's desk, or in fact any of the residents here don't like it?
I think it's strange, but it's not too uncommon, actually, with animals. If they associate perhaps paranormal activity with a certain area, they tend to stay out of that area.
What about the picture as well that apparently fell off the wall? That's quite interesting.
Well, as far as pictures coming off the wall are concerned, personally for me, it doesn't really represent any kind of paranormal activity. They fall off walls all the time, nails come out the wall, for instance. Having said that, this picture was on a picture hook, which means that it would have to have been lifted up, pulled off the wall and placed on the floor. So it's a bit of a strange one.
Museums are interesting at the best of times, but once daylight has gone and visitors have left, the whole building takes on a different feel. With our locked-off cameras in position and our trigger object set, the crew were ready to start the investigation. We needed one last person to join us. We called on the help of psychic Derek Akora.
Here, directly in front of us, it's like there's a yearning, both a psychic and spiritual yearning, to go to this area of this tank. I seem to get a lot of spiritual activity taking place around this tank. Now, when this activity is taking place, it can only be produced by a spirit person, not residual energy. The place here is stacked in a lot of residual energy, different layers. But here, I feel as if there's a great deal of, with this particular tank, and seems to be centered here, it seems to be going from that area over to here. So, in this area alone, I feel if someone was actually walking or tending something, walked into this hangar, they would probably be met by noises, without a doubt, because this individual man would make the noise. I know it most definitely is an American soul. He's not English. And most definitely, he would be very strongly linked here.
Is he a benign spirit, or is there any sort of nastiness about him?
No, there's nothing nasty about this person. However, this passageway here, which is most interesting, okay, let's assume psychically that he, apart from doing what he does in this hangar, and we go out to that passageway. What I want to say about the, thank you Sam, passageway, it seems as if I get this noise, and it's purposely done this way, and Sam's, you know, giving it to me. It's like a, not a hissing, but like a sound, and up and down this passageway at times, and through different parts of the actual building.
And that's done deliberately?
That's done deliberately, right. Separate from this good man, separate altogether. I do know as we go through that passageway, and I have got a very, very strong inclination, psychic inclination, that the person that's doing this, like, sounding, okay, this not nice sound, which would probably have people running if they heard it, physical people, has something to do with, he's taken a person's life. He's taken a woman's life. And he's not moved on to the higher side of life. The lady who he, well, murdered, took her life. She's moved on. She's gone into the heavenly light and what have you, quite a long time back. But he is not.
Did that occur here on this building, this location? I
feel it's in this area, yeah. I'll find out a little bit more, I believe, as I'm going through. But he is one of the spirit people that roams this whole area, in and out. It's in and out. But for some reason, as we go on, oh, thank you, Sam. Can we move? Yeah. Because this is important. Maybe there's a link here. Yeah. Okay. If we can just go down this passageway, because again, I'm being pulled in the nicest of ways, not a bad way. Now, right here, at this point, I firmly believe that around this area we have got a vortex,
Right.
an inlet and an outlet for spirit entry and exit.
Right.
And it's here. And at times I believe, or it should happen because I'm actually in the middle of it now, is that people who walk this passageway, meaning, you know, people who may work here and what have you, they could be walking along here so innocently and suddenly get this like cold shrill. And maybe, again, we got audible stuff. Oh, and at the end here, also, I would say shadows. Shadows would be seen. Because this individual that's coming in cannot formulate totally the spirit body to be seen in feature, but would be, you know, shadowy.
Is this the same person who is not the very nice person who committed a murder?
It could be. I'll have to, as we go along, we'll find out. But there's a strong probability it is him that's doing it because of his feeling of torment anyway, and not being able to move on. His only way, I suppose, to gain any, I don't know, if that's the right word, satisfaction, is to do these things. It's rather, I suppose, pathetic, but, oh God, yeah. I'm seeing the covering up of this lady. It seems as if she's been, like, placed in, like, a box coffin type thing. You know, and he's got her there. And, see, that's his torment showing that mental picture to me.
Is there any way you can give us a description of the man who did this?
I hope so.
You're on the right track, Derek.
Are we? Maybe they'll give me a little bit more. It's like gone quiet on me there. Okay. Oh, I've got a very brusque soul now. Who's want me to draw along here?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely proud, man.
Yeah.
Okay, come on then. Thank you very much. Bless you.
Berry Savoury's office is located at the end of the corridor. Would Derek pick up on his presence? Would he be able to name him? And would any members of the crew be party to paranormal activity at Muckleburgh? Berry Savoury was a famous man for his bravery during World War II and for setting up the museum. According to friends and relatives, he was extremely dedicated to Muckleburgh, and some people believe his ghost walks the museum.
What I'm picking up is that his essence of his energies are here. That's residual. Fast. Speed. He's here. He's come here.
Can you see him?
Yes.
You can see him?
This man, he's here in his essence. Didn't you hear him rap? No. Just there. This belongs to you, sir. Your brave heart. Very deep-thinking man.
Who is he?
I don't know yet. I don't know. So,
Is he still here?
yeah, his energy's here by the seat.
What, sitting in it?
Yes. He invites his good... Thank you, Sam. He invites his good friend here a lot. He's active here, but he comes in the vortex. He's truly in the world of spirit, but he comes in. But he also brings a friend. Say that again, Sam. He brings Douglas here. Douglas Bader? Bader. His good friend, who's also a pilot. Okay, thank you. Yes. Douglas comes here. This? Has he written in here? In this big book? Okay. Sam tells me in this big book here, there are writings and reports and beautiful photographs and things in this big thing here.
Yeah. This is his own private
Yes.
photographs.
Yes.
Who's that?
Oh, God. Just keep on. Could you, please? This is his
Yeah.
conditions, and this is the good man's beautiful hat, his cap. Okay. He's not here right now, otherwise He's showing himself, he sat down, his energy was there, then dispersed. Now, this man comes here and he's annoyed. He has been mistakenly talked about as being the shadowy figure that walks around here from this office up this passageway. That is not him.
It's not him.
It's not him.
Right.
The shadowy figure is the person, the man who took the lady's life. Right. And he's annoyed that that person, they see each other.
Is Sam not giving you a name yet for...
Oh, yeah, I keep on asking. Yeah. I'm sure we'll get it somewhere. You know, he'll give it to me. Sorry. Go.
Okay.
There's 2 groups of 3 ladies who are they come here. They only visit though, bless them. 6 very young, beautiful ladies who are in defence of our great country. Isabel, Jean, Alison, Mary, Geraldine, Christine.
Who are you?
Squadron leader? No. He's my good friend.
Can you tell us your name?
Derek, are you okay?
My dear.
Where's his husband coming?
My dear.
Derek.
My dear.
Derek, he's calm.
Was Derek really possessed by the spirit of Bury Savoury, or was it all in his mind? After a short break, we turned all the lights off and continued our investigation using our night vision cameras. One of the places that was renowned for paranormal activity was a World War II ambulance. Many people had witnessed the sounds of a man's voice screaming in agony.
Now, as we're coming into it, the residual energies, there is screams and crying out. And, you know, it's like, oh, it's so, you know, the feeling of hate and maybe souls that were carried in this vehicle, and they are still being replayed to this present day. And I feel that there is one particular soul that must have lost his actual life, actually, whilst he was in this vehicle. His name's Robert. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was made aware, the name come to me 3 or 4 times. Now, I know for a fact, or I say I know for a fact, I feel that the name Robert spends a lot of time around this vehicle. It's like as if he's coming back in memory. And, you know, his last thoughts and what have you. And I feel he was screaming. He was screaming out. It was like, please don't let me die. Save me. Please don't let me die. And his blood and what have you was just coming from. They couldn't prevent it. And I feel he is an active individual spirit. He's coming back and replaying it. And in actual fact, he's not doing himself a good service.
I was going to say, why would he do that?
Well, you know, this man flays himself because he was responsible for a unit of men or a group of men, whatever it's termed, and he still feels to this present day he let them down at the last moment. He was mortally wounded, fatally wounded, and what have you, and that's been replaying. Even when he came out of his physical body, before his body was taken from this vehicle, I can feel his emanations around my shoulders now. Who? Now, it sounded like, to me, it's either Nixon or Dixon. Right. Robert Nixon or Dixon.
Right. Well, should we ask Richard? Richard? Yes. Can you ask Neil on the walkie-talkie? Yeah. Robert Nixon or Dixon, please?
Neil, come in, please.
Really loud and clear, carry on.
Neil, Derek's picked up a chap called Robert, and he's just come up with the name either Nixon or Dixon. and it's actually to do with the back of this ambulance here, where screams have been heard. I don't know whether you know of a name like that, do you? Robert Nixon or Dixon? Over.
Nothing immediately comes to mind, but again, we can always check it on the records later. Over.
OK, Neil, out to you.
I hope he gets it explained to him that the group of men that he was involved with and over, the vast majority of them did not lose their lives like him. I feel some of them come out of the war-torn conditions and lived on. So, you know, I believe Sam will explain this to him, which will take that easement, and hopefully he will then go on truly and stay where he is and progress that way. And this will stop here. Right. The residual energy will stay silent.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you want to move on somewhere else?
Yes, love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we moved from the ambulance, we had word that the rest of the crew were experiencing strange noises in the kit room.
The electrical works just suddenly came straight on, all at the same time. And out of the back, immediately preceding that, we heard a very firm rattling, and it sounded like some sort of gate or bolted doorway rattling on the door.
Okay. Did everybody else hear it?
Yeah.
Really?
Where was that coming from?
Right, okay.
It's like rattling of a...
What's the matter with Holly?
Something's upset her. Something's upset Holly. She doesn't usually bark, and as soon as she heard it, she started to bark. So something's definitely rattled her as well.
You coming in with me? Come on. What, any Holly? What's Holly? What do you feel, babes? What do you feel? Come on, then. Come on, Hollis. Come on, baby. Come on. It's all right. Come on, Holly, babes. Okay. She just let herself right in, that's all. It's okay.
If the dogs come into this area, then I don't think there's anything going to be in this area, basically.
Yeah.
They are sensitive to these things, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we've seen Holly all day, and listened to her and watched her in their own way, tail going all the time. Now, wasn't that so distinctive and so like like her?
Is that the first time she's actually barked while we've been here?
Yes, I
It's the
think
first
so.
time
I can remember.
Yeah. And often, you know, the dogs, especially the bitch dogs like her, she'll pick up when stuff is happening.
Derek had picked up on the 6 women who had all died tragically during battle. This had taken place by the pillbox. This small structure has now become famous for its paranormal sightings. Many people have witnessed small bright lights hovering around the pillbox. People believe these lights are the spirits of the 6 young women, and this was a place that we wanted Derek to visit.
Can you get in there?
You can get in there. You see there's water.
Now, can I just tell you what's actually happening now? Is I'm getting the emanations. And when we talk about, on camera, we caught the orbs and what have you. At times, to the naked eye, people may emanating from here, shooting out. I talk about the spirit life lights, and it's like as if I'm getting lights going. You know, I'm not staying to conformity, going at different angles and shooting up and going across. And this is brought about by these lovely ladies who lost their lives. And I feel it's their infinite spark, their spirit selves, their life lights coming in a group, gathering together and then going away. And I feel that this could be, I don't know if it's a common occurrence, but I feel as if they've drawn attention to themselves and all people can see is these spirit lights.
Gosh.
And they still come here now. And it's around this area.
Well, that's actually quite true, isn't it?
That's spot on, yeah. People have seen lights around this area.
Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised, and maybe they've wondered what it is. And it's the 6 ladies. The ladies who come over at exactly the same time to the split second, boof! And, you know, they're looking at each other, and it may be such a shock to them that they've, you know, they're out of the physical body, the body's blown to bits, I feel, you know, the physical body. And they're looking at it, and I feel they do come back in this collective memory. They are not grounded here. They are truly in the world of spirit.
But they come in visitation.
But they come in visitation, and the way the naked eye is seeing it is not seeing the full spirit body, but the life light.
Right.
And it emits from here.
Why would anybody want to sort of come back in visitation after that kind of, you know, after the way they left their physical bodies like that.
They'll want to come back, they want to view and see as it is now. And also, they've got the capability and the abilities to, when their lights are seen, they can see it as it was then. Okay. So I firmly believe, I think this is what the feeling is, what I'm picking up from the energies here, is that they knew, after leaving the physical body, the outcome of what they were defending.
Right.
You know, the wartime conditions.
Yeah.
So to them, they knew that England was victorious, even though they'd done their bit.
Yeah.
And they're coming back, I suppose, in a very proud way of looking and saying, it's free. Yeah. That's what these people were thinking. They wanted freedom. Because, you know, without them, we wouldn't be standing here and living this life, would we?
Yeah. Let's head on back, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Once back inside the museum, it was time to split into groups. Would we come across the spirits of Bury Savoury, Robert Nixon, or the murderer that is supposed to walk the Muckleburgh Museum? The crew had split into groups to cover the building more effectively. Carl, the director, Phil and Rick went inside the tank that is supposed to be haunted. Richard, Derek, Craig, Tom and myself went into Bury Savoury's office, where the staff have often reported paranormal activity.
It's not to disappoint, but there's no evidence psychically or even spiritually that this good gentleman is actually in the atmosphere right now while we're in the room, because that would just be thrown out at me. So if we'd maybe just stay quiet.
I'm going to sit in the chair where Derek sat earlier on. Not picking up any light anomalies. Oh, she said. Could be dust.
How do you feel, Rick?
Feel all right, actually.
I think the trouble is it's scary on your own. But when there's a few of you, that I think you become more inquisitive and scary. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but it's the first time I've ever been inside a tank. It's a bit claustrophobic, which I don't like, I must admit.
It is very claustrophobic.
But now we've managed to open the top hatch so we can get out fairly easy. It smells of diesel or whatever.
This man's energy must be, again, trying to link, because I've just come from here and my fascination was to be taken to here. And there's, I don't know, it's like a nail or something here. And what was here? There was a picture here. And through anger, his energies pulled it down.
What if we were to actually put a picture up there?
I feel maybe he may do something, yeah.
See, there is a picture down here on the floor.
Let's see what it says.
Soldiers, I presume, from here. Okay, yeah, that's up. I'm moving it right quick, just in case.
Should we spend a few more minutes in here, then sort of get out and have one around the place?
Yeah.
If there is anybody here, please make yourself known to us in the tank.
Why'd you say we sort of get out and then I'll just stand by one of the tanks or something? Or...
Yeah, should we wander around?
Yeah.
The tank was a claustrophobic place to be, and after an hour of sitting in a confined space, the lads decided to venture elsewhere. Meanwhile, Neil, the museum historian, was convinced he had just witnessed something ghostly.
Right behind here, it was a figure. Just the top half of a figure, just two arms, a male figure.
How can you tell it was male? Was it?
I know it's going to sound contrived.
Sure.
It looked like he had a battle dress jacket on. I'm not being silly.
Yeah.
It's just something. I just went and sat down, and it was just arms and almost like torch went across from there, I realised that there wasn't a torch on. There's someone like... you could feel it. It was colder, wasn't it?
It was.
Not like a deep cold spot, but it's him, isn't it? It's like a battle dress jacket.
Yeah.
Desert with a belt in the middle. It's got a very distinctive cut to it. Can you hear something murmuring?
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, shit.
Rick and Phil had ended up in the ambulance room where, according to Derek, the spirit of a Robert Nixon or Dixon liked to visit. Carl had decided, as usual, to go it alone. He'd gone back to the tank where so many people had heard disembodied shouts and cries coming from within.
There's a lot of stuff supposed to have happened in here. People have heard. There's been a lot of, looking at the screen because I thought I just heard a rustling behind me. I've only just got in here.
Now where were you before? It's very cold. Yeah. Freezing. How are you feeling? Did you hear that? It's gone so cold here. This is before. Oh, you see it? Come where my arm is. Oh, it's freezing. Move to the tank. Move close to the tank. Oh. Ask if Bob's. What? Sorry. Imagination. It's all right there. It's here. Right where I'm standing now. I'm getting all goosebumpy again. Did you just hear that over there? Yeah, in that corner. Okay. Could you do that again? If there's anybody here, can you make a sound? It's not. It's still cold, but not as cold as it was. Did you just hear that? Yes. Did you just hear that? There is a footstep behind this tank. There's something going on here. Let's go around the back. It's me. See, it can't be anything walking behind the back. Oh, come here where I am. How cold? How cold? Freezing. It's gone absolutely freezing here again. Phil, can you feel that? Do you have any sort of explanation for that one? That's an outside wall, but it doesn't explain why we just got the cold sort of feeling here. Let's make our way back to the front of the tank. Yeah.
Is it worth trying the corridor?
I was just thinking exactly the same thing. Let's do that. Wait a minute. Is that handle supposed to be down?
Should we just see?
Okay, yeah. I'll just touch it and see if it...
Yeah.
Just that's okay.
Oh, that was a bit of a...
That's okay.
Pretty cool, huh?
But why am I going first? I'm not going first.
This is where Neil sensed things happening.
I really don't like it in here.
Why not? Why
I just get, I have one of those really kind of cold shiver feelings in here. I hate it in here. And there's just something about that doorway for me.
What the?
That was something.
Shh. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard something then.
What did you hear? Tell me.
It sounded like this. Like a carpet scrape or something.
It sounded like a click type.
It was, yes indeed. Yeah. I heard that.
What is that noise? Did you hear that?
Yes, it's starting.
think I just caught a really crazy orb.
No way.
Really?
This is a really freaky place.
Rick and Phil were so sure they were not alone. With all the noises they were hearing, the ambulance room was proving to be an interesting place. The rest of us didn't want to miss out, so we joined them.
Robert, we know it can be very, very, very difficult for you to really, really put your energy in to making something happen in this atmosphere. Do you hear that? Robert, can you do that again, please? Please try. We show you total respect. Yeah, there's another one. He's moved from there to there.
Yes.
Robert, if you possibly can, please, total respect to you. We show you love, and we are recognising that you are here.
What was that noise?
It went, oh, do you hear it?
What was that?
It sounded like a door sliding or something.
Yes. Okay.
No, it finished too quickly.
Okay. Robert, I know you're responding to me. Come on, put that extra effort in for us, Robert. Oh, may I call you Bob? I feel people used to call you Bob. Okay.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Over to the right.
There.
Yeah.
And down there.
Do you think it's worth walking around slowly?
Yeah. Robert? Robert? Oh.
What?
Oh.
What's the matter?
I'm feeling here just very, very, very to the chill to the side of me. Okay. Bob? I know you're close. I know you're close, Bob. Can you feel the chill here?
It's very cold, actually.
Oh, can you feel it if you come over?
Oh, flipping heck.
Yeah,
Flipping heck.
absolutely.
It's coming through like a real cold blast of air.
Yeah, come on, mate. Yeah.
Real cold blast of air is coming
Yeah.
through here.
Yeah. Please put the effort in. Yeah. Yes, we're recognising that you are, and we know that you are moving about.
Yeah.
See if we can just
Yeah.
where those noises are coming from.
Shit.
Okay.
I thought that was you then.
What?
Something nudged my shoulder.
I haven't touched you.
So I know, because I just seen you just there. I was just here, looking in that tank there, and I turned around and something sort of...
I've got to say, just before we all started shooting in here earlier, I was getting a GV inside the actual tank, and I could have sworn I saw somebody standing beside me.
Well, I just walked past it, and I thought, that's why I spun round and checked where you were straight away, that somebody went like that. As I walked past. I know, you were at least 3 or 4 feet away when I turned around and looked. But I've gone all goosepimpy now.
Can I just check which tank we're talking about?
Yeah, it's the T-34.
Well, that's the one.
I know.
What do you mean that what's wrong?
The suspect tank.
Well, this is the tank where people have heard it sort of cooling down when it's not been running, and that's why I was just checking it when I walked past. And as I did that and put my torch down, it's like something went like that on my shoulder and pushed it.
The noises we heard were very distinct. It definitely sounded as if someone was moving around.
Yeah. There's another one.
We stayed in the ambulance room for a considerable amount of time. It seemed odd that the noises we all heard just suddenly stopped. At 6 o'clock in the morning, when the rest of us had packed up and gone for a long-deserved sleep, Carl was still hoping for something to happen in the tank. His patience was rewarded.
Footsteps, that's definitely footsteps. Can't go too far, so I've left my torch in there. I definitely heard footsteps. Oh, it's freezing in here. I hope I've picked that up. I definitely heard footsteps. And this is where footsteps have been heard a lot, walking up to this door. Was that open before?
This place is absolutely fantastic. I had really great expectations because of the residual energy that must have been in these vehicles and around the place.
When I first walked into the office, it became very apparent to me that there was a gentleman, a strong-willed gentleman, a man of courage, strength. He's still in his office, and that man will continue to want to be there. I'd say, leave him. He's a good man. He's a good soul. He's got good memories here.
What happened to me was I actually felt something push me on my left shoulder, and I just immediately turned around to see if it was a vet. She'd bumped into me by accident, but she was nowhere near me. She was about 4 or 5 feet away.
I was quite keen to go in the T-34 tank alone, but needless to say, I didn't pluck up the courage to do that again, but one day I will actually do something on my own.
To be honest with you, it actually felt like there was something following us around. The noises that were heard in the place, there were some voice noises heard, some footstep noises heard. All these sounds have been heard before.
This place is active, very active. Active by a negative soul and also active by a very courageous soul. And if I may add, when the two come together, there's a little bit of a battle still going on.
Looking at Derek's walk around, and in particular the point where he's apparently been possessed by Berry Savoury, and he's even taking on some of the mannerisms, apparently, of this person, it seems to be quite striking that he is actually, maybe contacting this deceased person. But in my opinion, there's nothing there at all of any strong evidential value. So, for example, even when members of the team asked Derek to give the name of the person he's apparently been possessed by, he's not able to even give that name. So for me personally, there's nothing there at all of any strong evidential value.
Shit.
Okay.
I thought that was you then.
What?
Something nudged my shoulder.
I haven't touched you.
So, I know, because I've just seen you just there.
Mm-hmm.
There appear to be a number of very unusual experiences when the crew are in the ambulance hall. So, for example, they're hearing noises, also there are very unusual cold areas, and there's even a point where Phil feels though he's been brushed against. Now, for me, there seems to be some very possible, normal, conventional, logical explanation for these things, which for most people should be fairly apparent. For Phil's one, for example, I think it just simply is imagination running away with him.
Footsteps. That is definitely footsteps.
I'm particularly impressed with Carl's dedication in the fact that he stayed up right up until 6 in the morning, and at that stage he's even there inside the tank, which is supposed to be haunted, and he's so desperate to hear these apparently haunted footsteps which other people have heard in this location. Now, one potential explanation might be that, well, because he's so desperate to hear these noises, and also it's very, very early in the morning, he's had no sleep, perhaps again he's just imagining things. The fact that the camera microphone appears to pick up the noises does suggest that's not the most likely explanation. But again, alas, all we're left with are some footsteps where there's no obvious source. So is it paranormal, or was it simply walking past and Carl didn't see that person there?
This for me has been a fascinating 24 hours. It's been really, really interesting, but most of all, being with all these amazing artefacts has made our investigation. Until the next time on Most Haunted, sleep tight.